which I did. And then if I wanted to go one more step, I could use post-rank analytics to rank them by user engagement. And then I can have a different tab for every different search I wanted, and I can tab them. And that actually made a lot more sense to me, because at least this way, you don't have to do so much work. You still have to know what you want to do, but at least this is accessible. And so like with the lady that's going around UK, you could have a different tab for every different city that you're going to, and then you would basically just go and collect the feed, stick it in, and then you can rank it with the post rank, which used to be 8 RSS until they bought them. So that way, you can kind of do a ranking of, let's say, okay, well, this is the people that are more interested in clicked on these articles more. And then the last thing, another one was something that Luke brought up to me. I wrote an article for media with my friend Cecilia Pineda-Ferre, who also helped me brainstorm that article about Google and how Google was maybe going to change the game. And we have had a heated discussion about Google and whether Google would come into this space and just blow everybody out of the water, which they could do, and probably are going to do at some point. But in some sense, they already are doing it, but not directly. It turns out that there are some people using their code services, their application servers, and building their own monitoring solution. And this just happened maybe a month ago. So these guys have a platform, the company that does it, I think but it's not Real Monitoring, but that's their platform, what they call it. And the first thing they did is monitor everybody else who was monitoring people. So they have a monitor and all the different people that are providing monitoring solutions. But eventually this will be something that will also be a CRM solution as well. So that then pushes into Radian 6, who did a deal with Salesforce, and that gets into the kinds of things that people are paying a lot of money for. So there we get into the thing that depending on how well you want to use this, you might say, well, why do I need to buy Radian 6 now? Because essentially I can do CRM myself. I can do my social CRM this way. And these guys are saying they're going to do that. So there's a lot of dynamic in the industry, but right now this isn't particularly usable because it's still a demo account. So it doesn't really launch. It's just something you can look at and at the URLs that I wrote about it. And I referred to in pages 50 to 52. And then the next one was, well, again, Luke pushed me into pipes. I don't particularly use pipes. I think you can see why I wouldn't use pipes. So I took one of the most popular, Yahoo Pipes is kind of like a platform that you can, if you're not a programmer, you can pipe different parts of, sort of like the Unix pipe thing you used to do, where you could take different commands and take the output of one and put it in the input of another. Basically, you kind of do this with pipes with different data. You can do the same thing that you used to do with Unix, where you could take a grep and then you could pipe it into a cat, and you could do some other things. I did this again with the restaurant. So I typed in Havana Central, New York, and guess what it did? It picked up a tweet and then it put it in Cuba, because it thought that for some reason. So that's Yahoo Pipes, and that's one of the most popular pipes. People wrote a pipe, someone wrote there's a bunch of pipes out for social media monitoring, but there again, you can write your own pipes. You can look at what other people do. You can take their pipes and modify them. I didn't find it particularly user-friendly. I'm not a programmer. And personally, I found pipes slow and inefficient. And I don't see that many people using it, but because I said I was going to provide an example of pipes, I went out and found one, and this is what it showed me. Okay, so not a hell of a lot to say for pipes. Then there's another company coming out that I've had some contact with that also want to engage me sort of and ask me what I think of their Uberview. They got a nice widget that came out recently where you can compare two different brands or two different queries together for free. They're not expensive. They also have widgets you can put on your blog. They provide a dashboard. They're very inexpensive. They look pretty good to me, actually. They're not exactly, they're next to free. They're not exactly free if you want to buy them, but it's pretty close to free. And honestly, I can't tell this thing picked up, pretty much what it needed to pick up, and this was free. So, I mean, I believe in paying for stuff. So I don't want to tell you that this free solution is the solution for you, but I personally find it's hard to tell sometimes why you should pay for something before you've actually explored the free solutions and find out what they're not giving you that you can't get before you go and buy anything. And I think a lot of people think they can use these solutions that way because they're not sure yet, but then eventually they get to a point where they realize they can't get what they need out of this. And then that's when they go to a Simplicio or when they go to somebody else. And I'll explain why they would go to a Simplicio or why they would go to an Attendeo or why they would go to Braintology. Why would they? And, but let me just finish this one. There's another one that was paid that's now free. Well, at least for one query. The one query is any query you want. And Andy Beal has this tracker thing that's had for 2 years. So you can take any query about your name or anything, and it'll save that one query. You don't have to pay anything more. You get the full functionality of tracker, if I pronounce it right. In this case, I did the restaurant again, what can I say? Trying to do a little promotion there. There is a Ron Essential in London, but it's a dance club. It's not a restaurant. And unfortunately, people in the States that I'm doing a little work for, they can't really own it because it's cross boundaries, so it's kind of like they own it in the U.S., but they don't own that term here. But anyway, so this did not a bad job. Again, not bad for what it is. And you get one free. So if you want more, then you have to pay them like, what is it, $29 a month. But there again, you can do your searches around England. Does anybody else have an application that you think that you could use something like this for? Anything else that people want to do, with some of these free tools? I mean, like, can you think of things that you'd want to throw into, social mention that would get, or this? Does this fit your need? I mean, there's also sentiment analysis here, a little bit influence. We don't know how he ranks it, but he has it. Then there's another one that I came across recently. Jason Falls wrote about it. I ended up trying it out. Wasn't 100% totally impressed with it, but it sort of really tried to do most of what Radiant 6 does for $9 a month or $29 a month or $99 a month. And that, you can see what's basically happened is Radiant 6 got into the engagement console. So they moved up. So the guys that want to stay current keep on getting better and moving up. And then people like this come in and like wipe up and basically offering what Radiant 6 did for like next to nothing. And I mean, the thing is, actually it wasn't bad. I mean, this thing didn't, the cheap $9.99 only gave you 1 week's of data back. So if you wanted a whole month, you had to pay $29.99. But why would you care if you really wanted to only do that? It also gave you stuff the others didn't, like it gave you a lot of video coverage, viral stuff, gave you topic analysis. So these guys did sentiment analysis. It wasn't that good, but at $9.99 or $29.99, why would you care? And they gave you alerts and a daily, so.